Funding a self-build is about so much more than funding the construction. You need to ensure you can fund your life whilst that construction happens. Plus the full financial picture including deposits, upfront costs, and hidden expenses. Here's everything you need to think about when reviewing if you can financially afford to build your dream home. The deposit. One of the biggest myths in self-building is that you need a huge deposit. Truth is, most self-build lenders ask for at least 10% to 15% of the total project cost as your deposit. Some will want more, especially if your plans are complex or you're using a non-standard construction method. This deposit is based on the entire build cost, not just the land or the house. So that's land, materials, labor, fees, and VAT where applicable. Your income and savings. Understanding how your finances work together is essential before you commit. Your income helps with day-to-day living and loan repayments. Your savings bridge the gap, covering upfront costs, contingencies, and anything your mortgage doesn't cover. And your borrowing power is shaped by both how much you earn and how stable it is. Lenders will assess all three to determine what you can afford, and so should you. How money is released. With a self-build mortgage, the funds are released in stages. The lender agrees to release funds at key milestones like land purchase, foundations, roofing, and final fix. This means you need money in the bank to pay for each stage up front, if you're on an arrears product, or to keep things moving if a valuation gets delayed. It's why even with a mortgage in place, cash flow is king. Reports and surveys. Depending on your plot, you may be required to commission a range of specialist reports before construction begins. These might include a topographical survey, a flood risk assessment, an ecology report, an arboriculture survey, energy calculations, or a heritage impact statement. They're often required to discharge planning conditions or satisfy building control, and they're rarely cheap. Planning fees and conditions. Getting planning permission approved isn't always the end of the story. Local authorities can attach planning conditions that carry cost implications, such as ecological surveys, tree protection measures, or specific materials. In some cases, you might be asked for a Community Infrastructure Levy, CIL, or Section 106 contribution. These are rare for single dwellings, but not unheard of, especially if you're building in a sensitive area. Living costs during the build. It's easy to focus on the build budget, but don't forget to budget for you. You'll still need to cover living expenses during the project. That could include rent, food, transport to and from the site, childcare, and even things like Wi-Fi if you're working remotely. Suppose you or your partner are reducing your working hours to manage the build, you also need to factor in that shortfall. Rent, live on site, or sell. One of the biggest decisions you'll face is where to live while you build. Staying in your current home offers stability, but you'll pay rent or a mortgage while also funding the build. Living on site, in a caravan or cabin, saves money and keeps you close to the action, but it's not for everyone, especially in winter. Selling your existing home can release equity to fund the build, but means temporary accommodation. There's no perfect answer, just the one that works best for your finances, family, and stress levels. Storage and site setup. If you do decide to move out of your home during the build, you may need to budget for short-term accommodation. And either way, you'll likely need to add in storage costs for furniture or materials, plus site setup expenses like fencing, portable toilets, welfare cabins, and temporary electrics. You could be looking at several £1,000s before you even break ground. Upfront costs before you build. Even before your first brick is laid, there are a few costs you'll need to cover upfront. Think planning permission and drawings, as well as site surveys and soil testing. Structural warranty deposit, legal fees for buying the land. It can be quite a long list. And if you're using an arrears stage mortgage, you also need to fund your land purchase and first build phase entirely from your own savings or a bridging loan. The costs after the build. A finished house isn't the end of your spending. There are the soft but essential extras like removals, driveway surfacing, landscaping, fencing, and window dressings. You may also face stamp duty on the land, unless exempt, final cleaning costs, broadband installation, or even appliances you forgot to budget for. These aren't necessarily huge, but they're the things that turn your new build from a bare shell into a fully functioning home. Contingency funds. The golden rule is to set aside 10 to 15% of your total budget for unexpected costs. Because they will happen. Maybe your chosen tiles are out of stock. Maybe the digger hits rock. Maybe it rains for 3 weeks straight. Whatever the reason, this buffer could be the difference between a smooth finish and a stressful scramble for extra cash. So can you afford it? Mayflower is here to help you sense check your plans, run the calculators, and make sure your finances are strong enough to carry you through from plot to finish line. Book in a call with our expert team today to find out how we can help you. Let's get your finances in place to build your dream home.